What's up, gang? Sorry guys, no silly quirky intro today. Today's gonna be more of, like a chill videos. More chill apps.
Cares?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff isn't gonna be happening. Anyway, I've been thinking, man, I've been making all these videos and I haven't been, I wanted to make something, I want to make my own thing, and I decided that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna take this time, I'm gonna focus on myself. It's pretty much the artistic equivalent of cozying up in a nice warm blanket and getting yourself a hot cup of chai tea, taking a good long sip and telling yourself, I deserve this. So yeah, that's the gist of the video today. I'm gonna be making
something really cool.
So I know it's been said thousands of times now, but I'm gonna say it again, because no matter how many thousands of times, you don't seem to get it, and you need to get it through that thick skull of yours. The beginning is always the hardest part, and that is especially true when you're making something from scratch, completely on a whim. Whim? Whimsical? You know what they say? Sometimes, however, I find the most random inspiration I'm gonna strike at the strangest of times, and when that happens, I just write it down in a note and I save it for later. This time, so I can kind of show you how I do it, I'm just gonna go straight from scratch. And normally when I'm doing this, I find the safest bet is to just take a well-known character, concept, like archetype, and then throw something random in there that's kind of unorthodox. That's at least what I do. For example, like a robot, but he
even wore roadman clothes.
Or a modernized genie who comes out of like a red solo cup instead of a lamp. So what two silly little things we're gonna mix together today? Let's reach into the hat and find out. We're gonna make a samurai, but he's gonna be an insect. Okay, cool. Let's get to work. First and foremost, I come up with the main design goal. And with this one, I'm gonna take the aspects and make a samurai immediately recognizable and make them insect themed. For a more uniquely shaped character with all kinds of extra limbs like this, I very often will just start poly modeling. Also, I've made the decision to go all the way to a fully rigged character with this one. It saves me the process if I make the mesh now of having to retopologize or worry about any of that in the future. So in the words of Knowledge, Strength, and Integrity, it's two birds with the one stone. Now that I think about it, Mr. Knowledge, Strength, and Integrity actually says some pretty crazy things. I didn't really base the character off any specific insect. I just added whatever insect-like parts I thought looked cool. He's kind of a mishmash. Just wanted to make him crazy, monstrous, and really cool looking. I'm not really worried about scientific accuracy, because thugs don't worry about that kind of thing. I'm not a thug though, I'm just a boy. After the shape and the silhouette is finished, I make sure that there's evenly distributed quads. Kind of. It's not really about the quads. I just want to make sure the mesh has even density all around so I can sculpt on it evenly. And speaking of sculpting, now that's what's up next. We're going to go into ZBrush and get that started. I started with the body, but I wasn't really feeling it. I was dissatisfied with how it was looking, and I started to become worried that dissatisfaction was going to steep into other parts of my life, that it was more of a fundamental thing. And before that happened, I took a break. I decided I have to travel, I have to take some time and maybe explore the world and really find myself and rediscover my passion. Well, no, that's not true. I drank some lean. That normally helps me artistically. No, I looked at some more reference and got a little bit more inspired, and that led to this design, which I'm a lot more happy with. The rest of the sculpting process was pretty smooth sailing. I kind of went with this theme of making everything kind of have these overlapping plates, and there's not really much more to say. I think it looks good and pretty. So moving on. After that I just UV unwrapped it and then took it in the Substance Painter. Let's get the texturing. For texturing, I kind of I try to make up rules, preset rules of what parts would be colored what way in a realistic setting, and I try to limit myself to use as few colors as possible most of the time, so I find it makes cleaner designs that look better in the end. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, I guess, I don't know, shush. Anyway, for this one I decided to be composed of mostly just two materials. One for his outer shell, the harder parts, which would be blue, and then a dark muddyish brown for his gooey, ooey, inside bits that, when you don't want to touch them, the bits that when you... I would never, obviously, but when you squish a bug and the bits that would go, those, but before they go, if you get,
Okay.
However, I didn't follow this rule with his wings, and I wanted them to be more vibrant and bright. Yeah, remember earlier when I kind of shrugged off the idea of there being exceptions to the rule? That was a ruse, okay? I tricked you. That's called tricking you, what I did. Okay? I hope you feel terrible.
You're a victim!
After we go back into Blender and apply all the textures, it's onto rigging. Even though I still used Rigify, this character did end up being a little trickier because so many different appendages and stuff that don't necessarily move like regular limbs. So I had to get a little creative with the rigging to make sure everything would move how I wanted to. This included using this cool technique I learned to make custom controllers for the folding of the wings and the thorax. hip wing things. I don't really know what, because those normally would be wings as well. Like I said, he's not scientifically correct. Don't trip too much about it. Let's not worry about the little details, okay? When I posed him up, I wanted him to look slick and incognito, so you couldn't really tell what kind of spooky creature might be hiding underneath that hat. The hat! Oh my god, I haven't even mentioned the hat. After I finished sculpting him back in Blender, I realized I completely forgot like his gear, you know? The things that weren't part of like his bug body, which was just a hat and a sword. So I modeled those. It was pretty simple. They're not crazy complicated because I knew they weren't focal points. They were just accessories on this character. Sorry, I completely forgot to mention that. You're probably screaming at me this whole time. Where's this, a samurai with no sword? Oh my god, yeah, you. For rendering, I tried this nifty new technique. Well, it's not new, but it's new to me, okay? Oh my god, you just don't give me a break. I rendered out the key, fill, and backlights separately, and then went like this. I did this with them. I did this. And I did this in Photoshop. And then the background and foreground elements, I did a mix of using pictures and painting in to make it look like he was kind of in a forest and it was raining at night. And I was really proud of the rain that like the splashes I painted on his body. They turned out looking really good, and I've never really done anything like that before.
And so I love this, baby. I just jerked off a little bit.
This method definitely has some benefits. A lot more fine control over the lighting, and it's a lot faster when you make up a 2D background like that instead of trying to fully model in 3D, especially if it's just for a single render. Because it's so quick, and because the first render doesn't really show much of the character, I wanted to make another one of him in action, going crazy, you know? So I posed, lit, rendered, composited, and this is what I got. I posed, lit, rendered, composited, and this is what I got. So yeah, one last time, here's the final result. I'm really happy with this character, and I'm really glad I took this time for my set. What is that? Why? Oh my god.
Should I be here? Oh, hi. Guess this is my video now. Am I supposed to know what a video is? Anyway, this is a small problem. Peace.